All right, welcome to Dual Redundancy, the only podcast where you can hear all the latest in movies, television, and pop culture moments from the past year from two millennials with exactly the same opinions. I'm one of those hosts, David Allen, and another one is
John Berwick, and the third one is
Kyle Bridger. I'm going to start this podcast off on a weird note, but this is not anywhere entertainment related. But I would say that I am the original COVID-19 to John's Delta variant to Dave's Omicron variant. It's a pandemic year, baby.
It's a pandemic year, trilogy, decade. Who knows how long we're stuck in this, but okay. Yeah. I mean, that does relate to all the stuff we're talking about because that definitely has affected movies, television, and pop culture from the past year. And it's going to for many, many years. But tonight is a very special episode of Dual Redundancy. We do it every year. It's been a tradition since 2013, I believe. We're going to talk about your favorite movies, television shows, and pop culture moments from the past year. Every year we have this Google form survey. We get your votes from the listeners, some help from the sample size movie and television subreddits, and we compile a list of the results and then we reveal them live tonight. So we got a good sample. We start off, I put in like 20, 30 movies and TV shows in each category. These are crowd hits, these are critic favorites. And then there's always a write-in, so people can always write in as well, just to get a good mix of what happened the past year. And then we reveal it all here on the podcast. We react. And that's it. That's how we close out 2021. I don't know. I'm ready to go right to it. No in and out points this week. You guys ready to start off? Let's talk movies.
Let's do it.
All right. Just to set the stage with movies. Past few years, 2018, the winner was Avengers Infinity War. 2019, Avengers Endgame. Last year was actually Palm Springs. There wasn't any superhero movies that came out. But let's start off with honorable mentions. I'll do a couple. The ones that are like in fourth place that just missed the cut. These missed it by just a couple of votes. Some animated films to start. Luca and the Mitchells versus the Machines. They just missed the cut.
Okay.
I actually really like these two. These are some of we'll get to our favorites, our personal favorites later. I like these two animated films. You can't go wrong with Pixar. You can't go wrong with a film from the Spider-Verse Lego movie team. Both of these were fun. Surprises. Any thoughts on these two? Did you see any of these films? I believe you saw Luca, Kyle.
I did like Luca, and the kind of the tangentialness, I guess is a word, with Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah,
is it's crazy. It's kind of strange how close it mixes in with each other, but yeah, I liked Luca a lot. I mean, I don't think it's Pixar's best.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to clear that bar.
Yeah,
but
sure. But it's definitely enjoyable and a good movie. I got to be honest, I didn't even know the Mitchells versus the Machine. Where did that come from?
It's on Netflix, baby.
Oh boy,
check that out. It was I actually really enjoyed it. It was fun. It definitely has that unique animation style that you saw in like Spider-Verse and Lego Movie and stuff like that. Good.
Yeah, because I'm looking at even at the clip art and I'm like, I don't even know what that's insane. Like I guess I gotta, I don't know, get on it.
All right, so let's get to our top three here. Let's see, number 3 on the list, The Suicide Squad 2021. Wow. That version of the list here, not the other one.
Okay.
Thoughts on this choice for number 3?
I gotta be honest, I don't even remember if I watched this one or not. I believe I did.
We did for the podcast.
Yeah, I believe we did. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah,
I remember liking it better than the original, if I remember correctly.
definitely.
But the fact that I can't remember it makes it so forgettable to me that, why do it again? You know,
Yeah, I'm with
you
you.
know,
I it was just a few months ago we talked about it. I can't really remember anything really from it. We talked about it in episode 351, and we even talked about like the lackluster box office, the low HBO
Mhm.
Max numbers, the whole brand confusion because this is the 2021 version and
Yeah.
not the other version, even though a lot of the characters are the same and the title's practically the same. And we're just like, well, I guess it didn't really click, but clearly it clicked. It's number 3 on the list,
Yeah.
and it's definitely a step up from the other version, the first version.
Mhm.
We got James Gunn here at the helm. Definitely more fun. Has that kind of Guardians of the Galaxy feel,
Mhm.
the music and the style and the humor. John, any thoughts of the Suicide Squad?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what we've been saying. I don't know why it was made after the first one, except I guess they did a better job. So that's it. But yeah, too much confusion with the first one, and I don't think there was anything in it that really made me go, "Wow!" Just kind of like, all right, action movie, polka dot man. Okay,
The weird starfish thing.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah, that was that. The starfish. Oh my god, the most absurd. Yeah, I do remember that. It's
Yeah,
wild.
but there was like rats running around, and that was her power or something.
Rat
Yeah.
girl, yeah.
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 Um. All right, we got two other films on the list. I forgot to ask this before I revealed number 3. Any thoughts? Any possibilities that you think are going to be in the top 2 now
All right.
for movies of
So
the year?
I think Dune is probably one of them. And I'm going to guess yeah, I would guess Dune or one of those
Mm.
Marvel ones.
You're pretty much there, Kyle. Fingers on the pulse. Number
Yeah, I couldn't
2.
remember Suicide Squad, but my finger is definitely on the
Yeah.
pulse.
Number 2 on the list is a Marvel film, Shang-Chi and the Legacy of the Ten Rings. I think, or maybe it's the Legend of the Ten Rings. Let me double check that.
It's legend. Yeah.
Legend of the Ten Rings. That just shows we're not Marvel fans here
Yeah.
on the podcast. I don't even know
Yeah.
what the title of the movie I wrote down. Yeah, so none of us saw this film, which isn't great. People voted on it, and it's number 2. So we need to have some kind of review. So earlier today, I reached out to a Marvel expert, our friends, the good, the bad, and the watchable. I got Nick Rojas on the line. Nick, what do you thought?
What's up, everybody? This is Nick Rojas from The Good, the Bad, and the Watchable. I'm here to talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So I saw this movie in theaters a few months ago with my girlfriend. I'm a pretty big Marvel fan, I'd like to think. I've seen all the movies. I've even read some graphic novels over the last few years, listened to a bunch of podcasts as well. So my girlfriend, she's a pretty big fan as well. She'll tag along with me to all the big ones. So we sat there in the movie, and I was having a blast the first 2/3 of the movie. And that's obviously a much more grounded part of the movie. I mean, as grounded as a Marvel movie can be. I really loved the chemistry between Simu Liu and Aquafina. And Simu Liu, who I don't watch Kim's Convenience, but I know he's on that. He really popped out on the screen for me. I was like, this is a leading man right here. I really enjoyed his performance. And Aquafina was great in her own right as well. And I always love Aquafina. So I really liked the first 2/3 of this movie. And the last third became a lot of CGI, and I checked out. I even nodded off and fell asleep a little bit. But overall, I gave it a 6 out of 10. A 7 out of 10. Because I did enjoy this movie a lot, and I like the future. I'd like to see where this character goes in the future. My girlfriend liked it even more than I did, which I thought was interesting. She loved that movie a lot. I think she gave it close to an 8, and she really enjoyed it. So, Shang-Chi, a surprisingly really fun origin story this late in the game for Marvel. So, that's my review. Sending it back to you guys.
All right. Thanks, Nick, for that.
So he gave it 7 out of the 10 rings.
There you go.
That's what he gave.
Yeah, 7 rings out of 10. Yeah, I've heard good things about this film. Obviously, we're in like kind of phase 4, I believe now. After Endgame, we're getting a lot more origin stories. We got this, Eternals. We're kind of starting up a new batch of superheroes for the next big ensemble film at some point. It's the number one film at the domestic box office right now. It's beating the other superhero films of the year, Venom 2 and Black Widow. So yeah.
I just need again, I don't know with the price of admission for these Marvel movies. It's like, what do I need to know? Can I get a Cliff's
Everything.
Notes and then just like go in, or can I go in cold and still enjoy it? Like,
They conveniently made 100+ hours of video backstory you can watch, Kyle.
oh, okay. Thank. I'll be sure to get on that.
I'll get right on that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of something you need to know, a lot of backstory too. All right. You're right, Kyle. You're right. Number one, Dune.
Yeah.
Dune.
Dune.
Okay.
Hey, I like this movie, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. Like, it's one of those movies that, yeah, it's only been a couple months and I'm already like, wait, what happened again? It's kind of like I have to go back. I'm like, I gotta think about it. I'm really curious how it's gonna play because I saw this one in theaters. I'm curious how it's gonna play years from now on my TV or on my iPhone or
Wait, you saw Dune in theaters?
I did.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it from home and it looks
Oh,
fantastic.
there you go. You got a nice TV though. I will say it there. You got a nice TV. So.
Yeah, yeah, it is nice. But I mean, overall, it's still, to me, it's still a great movie. I mean, I watched it 1 and like 3/4 times in the first weekend, so I was down. I was down with it. I liked it a lot.
But yeah, looking at the votes, there was for our survey, you could do 1 vote per person. You could choose multiple films in each category. But this was at least on, I believe, if I'm doing the math correctly, 45% of the ballots. This was their number. This is one of their films that they picked. It's number 12 at the domestic box office. Has 92 million so far domestically, right behind Godzilla versus Kong. Remember that? Remember that movie on HBO Max this year?
Yeah.
But this one is earning the awards, at least the nominations right now. Obviously, it's a technical feat. 10 Critics' Choice Awards, 3 Golden Globe Awards. I don't know whatever. I guess, are we still doing that? Like, I don't think so. Whatever. But who knows with the Oscars if what's to come for that. But yeah, I mean, I'd say, as I said when we discussed it, I had this movie so hyped up for me that it was gonna like change my life, and we went through all those tweets and stuff. And while it didn't reach that level, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was visually awesome. I had some questions with the story because, again, like, what do I need to know? Like, how much do I have to know going in to this world? Because it's a dense book, a lot of backstory.
But I think I think they do a good job of setting it up because we're learning through the Timothée Chalamet's character there. So we get a lot of that backstory of what we need to know in those moments. And I think that's what makes it play so well, because it didn't seem like exposition where we're just talking about it. There seems to be a purpose to it. And it's like he's learning as well, and we're trying to learn with it. So it made it an interesting little kind of tidbit along the way.
All right. Those were our films, our top 3 films. I'm going to go through some other things on the survey where I'll talk about some films that got multiple write-ins. These are films that weren't in our initial top 20 or 30, but they got at least multiple votes. So I'll give them a mention. We got Titane, The French Dispatch, Pig, and then this one, hard to classify, definitely would be on my list of favorites. If it is a film, Bo Burnham's Inside. They got some multiple write-ins. I would agree. I didn't know where to put it on the survey. What is this? Is movie, TV show, special? We don't. It's like a hard thing to classify.
Yeah, it almost feels like a special to me, but I guess it would be a film. I don't know, but since it's a comedian, you kind of think of it as a special. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it was up for Emmys, but so was Hamilton. So like, I don't know what any of this means anymore. But that would be on my list for the year. Anything that's on your guys' list? Any favorite movies from the year that you want to shout out? John, anything?
You know what? Inside and Dune, I think, were the two high points for me. There's a couple of these on this list that I'm looking at that I still want to see, but I just haven't had the time to go see them yet. So,
for me, I would say Dune was probably my favorite of the year. I haven't actually seen that many movies this year. I gotta like catch up on all the things that I missed. But I would say Dune. I liked Zola. It wasn't my favorite. I was expecting a little bit something a little bit better, but I did enjoy Zola. But that's really, I would say Dune is probably my top.
Yeah, and this is always hard because this year is especially weird because the Oscars normally like separate the year. I feel like what's classified, because on my list I mentioned Inside, Luca, Mitchell versus Machines, but like Minari, and some of the other like Oscar films would be on it. They're technically 2021 releases, because the Oscars were so late this year that they were 2021. So I would put those on my list. I will say some zero vote getters. These are ones, not to say that they all, because a lot of films got zero because they're not even mentioned, but these were in our top 20 or 30 that didn't get really any votes. Let's see, one vote only for Fast 9, F9, which is kind of crazy. The movie made like 726 million worldwide. It's the number 4 movie of like domestically. Like you'd think it would have more love if that many people saw it. And then 0 for Old. No love for Old. But yeah.
Did you see Old?
No, not yet.
I do want to check it out.
I want to check it out, but right now it's still like $20 for rental, and I'm like, sorry, M. Night. Sorry.
Yeah.
Not there
what
yet.
What about Christopher Nolan's movie there, or was that last year?
I think that was 2020. He made sure it was 2020.
Yeah.
He made it go out in 2020. But all right, let's now move to TV. We started doing this last year we did 3 TV categories because there's just so much TV. We're going to start off with returning shows. The shows that obviously have multiple seasons, been going on for a while. 2018 was The Good Place. 2019, Chernobyl. Last year, The Boys. Honorable mentions starting off. Curb Your Enthusiasm, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Wow. Okay.
They just missed the cut. Any thoughts on these comedies? We got the final season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We got the 11th season of Curb Your Enthusiasm, 21 years later. But yeah,
I think with Curb, it's like still very good, but I think it's past its prime, so to speak. But it's still very, very good, and you still want to watch it. But I don't think it's like appointment viewing or anything where it's like, man, I got to watch Curb. It's like, okay, I'll enjoy it when I get to it. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I only saw that finale there, but yeah, I mean, I think people were excited about the final thing. And you talked about them trying to navigate, all the police brutality stuff. But I think with the finale, I think the finale for fans, it was a good send off. I liked the finale for sure.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I feel like with Curb right now, it's like pretty good. If you have to like, it's it's one of those things where it's like, is it the height of earlier seasons? No. Is it as any episode of Curb is a good episode of TV usually. You get at least a chuckle here and there, even though it's not perfect. But yeah, all right. The next 3 shows were really all neck and neck. I mean, only one vote separated the number 2 show and the number 1 show. So these are they're in their own little tier here. Any thoughts? Top 3 shows of the year, Kyle?
Oh man, of returning
shows.
I'm gonna say The Handmaid's Tale is on there. I'm gonna say Ted Lasso's on there, and I'm gonna say Succession is on there.
Interesting. I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
But you did pretty good again. You passed. If we're gonna go with percentages, I'll leave it at that.
Is 65 passing?
So number 3 is a comedy, just like Curb and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. It's not Handmaid's Tale. It's What We Do in the
No,
Shadows.
it's not.
What We Do in the Shadows,
Yeah.
season 3.
Uh-huh.
What did you think of What We Do in the Shadows, Kyle?
I liked it. There was some really good episodes with shoot, what's his name?
Colin
Laszlo?
Robinson or
No,
Matt Berry, Laszlo. Who we got?
the shoot. I'm losing my mind. But yes, Matt
Nandor?
Berry
I don't know who you're talking
and Colin Robinson. The one where they have to go onto that island and get that's funny. The one where the main dude there is like working out.
Yeah,
like he's
Nandor
doing-
in the little
Nandor.
basement 80s outfit there. Yep.
That was a good one. I liked the season overall. You know who I actually really don't like with this show, and
I might be with you. Who is
it's
it?
getting annoying, is the Guillermo.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they're gonna do with him, but I feel like it's like a buzzkill, man. It really is.
And it's funny because Colin Robinson is literally like a blood sucking, energy sucking buzzkill.
But that's funny to watch.
Yeah.
But he's just, I don't know. I don't like that
I hear
character
you.
too much. So overall, I think it's a solid choice by the viewers.
Yeah, I'd say it's always funny. I'm always excited to see what they come up with. Maybe not as strong as season 2 for me, but they still had some good moments. And obviously, this whole spoiler, real quick, 15-second skip ahead, but the death of one of these characters and his rebirth is going to lead to a lot of interesting things, I think, in season 4.
Yeah,
when that comes around. But
yep.
All right. Our next 2 shows, as I said, 1 vote separated them. I'll tell you, yes, you're right. It's Succession, number 2 on the list.
Oh, wow.
All right. It's leading at the Critics' Choice and the Golden Globes. We just finished the season on Sunday night. We previewed the finale last week, and boy, what a finale it was.
Yeah.
I guess we're going to have to talk spoilers. Sorry, that's just the way it goes here. But Kyle, thoughts on season 3 of Succession and the finale?
The finale was phenomenal. I think it was probably the best episode of the season to me. At first, and we talked about this at first early on in the season, I was kind of down on it. It felt smaller. It felt more contained. It didn't feel like the same vibe. But then we get out to the last few episodes, and they're at the Italian villas and they're dealing with all this stuff, and it got really, really good towards the end, and everything really paid off. And I think going back now, I would have an appreciation for the earlier episodes because they're laying the groundwork for all of this stuff to happen. It's almost kind of how I feel about like the first season when we were first watching it. It's like, what's going on? Like, why should I care? Like, what?
I think that's like every season. I feel like the first half maybe individually doesn't they're good, but like, where are we going? And then the last half of the season, it's just like, this season with the birthday, and then the start of the wedding, and then this episode, it's just like everything comes together, and it's a house of cards. It all falls down half the time, and it builds up, and then I think now you can appreciate what we saw before, and as a whole, it all clicks, and it was all setting up something so well. Again, spoilers, but it's like we talked about, is Kendall dying, and I'm so glad he's okay.
Yeah.
Kind of. Emotionally, he's a wreck.
Yeah.
His spirit is certainly killed.
Yeah.
His spirit's gone. But like, it was enough for the kids to team up and then, trying to take down Logan. But then it still wasn't enough because we get this Shakespearean betrayal from Tom. And it's just, there's so many like moments in that finale of just jaw dropping. Like, oh my God, we just went there. Oh my God. No, we have to wait to season 4. But I'm so ready for it. And I will say, as always, so many, like, I don't even know for Emmys this year. Jeremy Strong obviously is always an MVP. The whole scene when he's down there on the ground with his 2 siblings around him, powerhouse performance. We talked about it last week with Kieran Culkin this season. What a season for him. And then obviously with Matthew McFadden for Tom.
Yeah.
Like,
To me, it was Tom's year. I think
That's
this
the one
was
I'm
the
rooting
season
for.
of
Yeah.
Tom, and he's so good at like playing that kind of like in the background character, but he's a vital player, and then he's this manipulator when it comes to Greg. Like, he's all of these different things, and he just does such a good job with it. So I hope he wins something for it.
Yeah. So I believe, at least if it's like last year, Jeremy and Brian Cox are in lead. People like Kiernan and Nicholas Braun and Matthew McFadden, they're all going to be in supporting. So probably maybe a little tough. Both categories are tough to be up against Brian or Jeremy, or any of them is tough. But yeah, what a season! I can't wait for season 4. But yeah, I got another show, Kyle. You said it. Number 1 by 1 vote over Succession. Ted Lasso.
Wow. Yeah.
Season 1 swept the Emmys,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like season 2 had a little bit more of a mixed reaction. At least during the season. I can't remember exactly how the people felt by the end of season 2, but what did you think of season 2?
I liked it. As as we got toward the end, there was a villain in sight. There was something going again. There was some conflict there that made it a little bit better. There were a few episodes where you're like, is this show jumping the shark here? Like, there was the Christmas episode, which was kind of controversial. And then to me, that funeral episode where they're doing like the Rick rolling was a little bit too much. But overall, I mean, it's still a feel good show. I think you root for Ted Lasso. You want them to win. They make you feel good. It's like this show that is carrying the pandemic, I feel like. But I think all the characters are really, really likable, except the one that was created a villain. And now I feel like that's going to be able to push it through into the next season.
Yeah, for me, because I binged season 1 like real quick right before season 2. And maybe it's because of that. Maybe because doing a binge versus a week by week thing. Maybe I still like season 1 better.
Yeah, me too.
It's also discovering these characters and then seeing season 2, because for a while we didn't really have an antagonist for a while. First half of the season, it was like all the people that were mean season 1 are now like best buddies with Ted, and there's no issues and there's no drama. But then obviously as the season went on, it's certainly for season 3, we set up some drama. But yeah, still a good time. Episodes did get longer. They really were pushing the half-hour comedy aspect of the show. But yeah, not bad.
For sure.
I would have Succession as my number 1, but
yeah,
I can't quibble too much.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, it's just, I think Ted Lasso is just such a feel-good show. It's like one of those things where it's like ranked choice voting. It's like if you have it down on the list, it's gonna, be there.
Let's see here. Let's talk about some other TV shows. These are the ones that got multiple write-ins. Star Trek Lower Decks, Doom Patrol, even Better Call Saul got some love, which not eligible this year, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah.
But and then let's see some 0 votes. I couldn't find anything with 0. There were some low ones. They all got something. But TV Guide's number 1 show, Evil, only got 2 votes.
TV Guide's
remember talking about that? And then the phenomenon that was season 1, season 2 came along for Tiger King, just 1 vote, one person voting for Tiger King 2.
It's too much people asking.
Don't worry, we're getting some, I'm sure in 2022, those series, those scripted Tiger King series are going to come out. Can't wait.
Yeah, too long. It's over with.
It's over. Move on.
Yeah.
what were your guys' favorite shows of the year? John, do you have any favorites we haven't talked about, or anything that stood out to you in the past year, returning show wise?
Returning shows? I did have one, I thought. Looking at the list. No.
No, nothing. Nothing for
Sorry.
John returning. You're waiting
no.
for Saul. I know you. I know you.
I that was my one vote. I squandered it.
What about you, Kyle?
I would have to say I think you should leave.
Yeah.
Was
Oh,
for
yeah.
me one of the
Okay.
tops. Dave was
Yeah.
good too. Very,
You got my
very good.
list, don't you?
Yeah.
Those are my those two, Succession. Those are my top three.
Yeah.
Great
yeah.
was all right.
Yeah. Well, technically, I will say we watched The Great season 1. I don't know if you've seen season 2 yet, John. Season 2 is the 2021.
I started it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
I'll have to say the other two was good
The
too.
other two, yeah.
Yeah, the other two was good as well. Was The Crown on in 2021 or no?
I don't believe so. I believe
Yeah,
that was the end of 2020.
Yeah, I know. It's just like it blur the lines.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm going to shout out my reality TV show, Survivor, Circle, Bake Off. I all had some good seasons this year. So I'll share some love for those reality
Every time
shows.
I hear you talking about Survivor, it's like you're angry with it, though.
Well, I'm a passionate fan. For me, any Survivor is good Survivor. Just probably how you like, football, you Green Bay, you're excited. But like they can disappoint you sometimes, I'm sure.
Sure, yes.
So that's what this is. Like the cast is top notch this season. There's a lot of choices that the producers made that I wasn't thrilled with.
Okay.
But
Now you got him going, Kyle.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
We don't have time. We got to move now to new shows. The new shows that came out in the past year. Again, to give you a little list, 2019 was also Chernobyl. 2020 somehow was Mythic Quest Raven's Banquet.
Oh, yeah.
Neither are new this year. Neither are eligible for this category. What are your thoughts, Kyle, of new shows on this list?
New
top 3
shows. There's a few that I liked quite a bit. But overall, looking at the list, there's none that I was like, oh my God, this is so good. Looking at this list, it's mostly returning shows that I liked or the limited anthology. But looking at the new shows, there's just a few. I think I do have like a top 3 that I would choose.
Okay, well, real quick, you want to run them down, see if those are the top 3
so,
America wants?
probably
or the world
Hacks would
Okay.
be one from that list. Made for Love I liked, and I did like Squid Game as well, and I think those would be
It'd be
probably
your
my 3.
personal top 3.
Yes, I think
America
so.
and the world did not agree
All right.
with
Well,
two
they
of
don't know
those.
what they're talking about.
You failed, Kyle. That's a
Yeah.
Failed.
33.
Now you're at 33%. Number 3 on the list. A very buzzy show, a Hulu breakthrough, Only Murders in the Building.
Okay. Is number 3?
Number 3 on the list.
Interesting. Okay.
I saw a little bit there. I think I saw the first episode. I've seen, a lot of people really love it. Did you guys watch more of it? No,
Nope.
yeah, you guys didn't keep going.
No.
Did not
It's been-
impress.
it seemed like a mini series at first, but then I guess it became so popular that it's been renewed for season 2, so it does count as a new series. But yeah, I just didn't have enough to finish this. It's one of
Yeah.
those shows where it's like I'll watch it eventually. I heard it's good, but it doesn't seem like appointment viewing for me
Yeah.
that I have to watch this right now immediately. But
To me, I hate to say it, but Steve Martin and Martin Short are just a little bit too corny for me sometimes. It's like a little bit too old white dude comedy for me.
to quote a Steve Martin movie title, you're the jerk. Kyle.
Yeah, yeah. I am the jerk.
But yeah, no, I hear you. But you got the millennial Selena Gomez kind of.
Oh, that'll tie it together. Sure.
I'll tie it together.
Yeah.
And it's about podcasts. We like podcasts, don't we?
I mean, hey, I was just gonna say this. Like I just read an article that like some people like there's been like 5 amateur like figuring out cold cases. Like 5 amateurs
they did it?
cases have been closed because
The internet, man, the fans, the
Yeah.
Reddit, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever saw the miniseries "Don't F with Cats" on Netflix. If you haven't,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
it's a tough watch at points because of the subject matter, but it's this kind of internet sleuthing that is really crazy. Like it's really cool. But
Yeah, apparently this diver went down and found a car for like that got submerged that these couple went missing in, and he found the car at the bottom of like this river. I'm like, what? People are doing this?
not me. Well, let's see here. Number 2, we'll go on the list here. It beat Murders by just 1 vote. Again, it was very close. We got over 100 votes in this thing. There's still just a couple of votes separating each one. Loki, number 2. Of course, we got to have a superhero show make the cut. I'd say for me, of the 4 or 5 Marvel Disney Plus shows we got, this was probably the most interesting one for me. Probably the one I watched more of, I think. Maybe this and WandaVision were like the 2 I spent most time with. I didn't finish either of them, but like it was the most intriguing, the whole time travel element. And I was like, okay, we're doing something new here. We're setting stuff up. Okay, I like this. But yeah, it still wasn't enough as a non-superhero fan for me to finish. But Kyle, what do you think of Loki?
Yeah, I found it interesting. I liked WandaVision more, so I actually finished WandaVision, but I never finished Loki. But I mean, production design wise and all that thing, it was good. I think it's a lot better than the Hawkeye crap. But yeah,
Don't go on that rant again.
Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was okay. I just never kept up with it. I don't know. Superheroes just don't do it for me.
Yeah. Maybe next year I mean, will this be rioting in the streets? If we made just a category of all the superhero stuff that came out and they can be in their own category, and then we can do other movies and TV shows separate. I don't know. Because they're always top 3, and it's like for us, you're
trying to game the system.
Yeah. I don't know. That's probably blasphemous. Sorry. I'll make it all fair. But it's still only number 2 on the list. There was something that beat it. And is there any question this year what beat it? I mean, it's the most popular show ever for Netflix and probably just ever. Squid Game. This generated, like, I think literally $1 billion for the streamer in like the first month. I think we talked about it. It was like a $20 million budget. Revenue like over like $1 billion. It's breaking through at award shows, even the American award shows like the Critics' Choice, and this is big. This was a phenomenon. This was something everyone was talking about for those 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was Halloween costumes. It was parodied on SNL. I mean, what more can we say about Squid Game, John? You went through it quick.
I really enjoyed it. I was on board, man. I mean, obviously everyone else seems to be as well, but yeah, it's definitely one of those shows where even though it's not in English, that only kind of almost enhances it, and I think we've seen that more and more recently lately, where stuff that's kind of imported and not translated has been doing well. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. The season 2 kind of setup was a little sad, but at the same time,
I'm worried.
I really was hoping for a prequel, not a sequel, when I was watching it, because there's a world here that they can explain better, and I think that would go a lot longer than spoilers. Just having the same thing again, like, and you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like we have a whole exploration and how this came to be, and how
what was the first Squid Game?
Yeah, and how obviously one of the, again, spoilers, reveals in the middle of the series is that the investigator's brother is the guy running the place. How did he get into power? How long has he been there? Has he been going back and forth between real life and there's just so much more. And they had this whole big closet of records and all these people, and like you could easily pick another person to be the main character and explain the story of the main guy. I don't know. There's a lot that they could do. So I'm kind of hoping that they realize that and go that route instead of just sending the same thing later.
Yeah.
You know?
Because as you mentioned, like with the investigator there, I feel like that's what we're kind of going to get with season 2 with our main character who again, spoiler, survived the game. It sounds like he's going to like go back in and try to get him from the inside. And it's like, well, that's what we kind of had with the investigator. And like, I feel like we're going to kind of repeat some of the plot points from that season. Again, who knows? They can obviously always surprise us. We were surprised with this season with everything that they did. But yeah, I'm always just going in with hesitation. You know, once you have something so popular, you know, I don't need a Queen's Gambit 2. I don't need that was great as it is. And so I'm always worried. But
on top of that, the old man story. You have you have so many different people you could do a backstory on and how it intertwines all together. And
give me a young Sheldon of the old man. Just me. But all right, let's talk about some write-ins. The one I really want to talk about is something that got votes in every TV category. In the returning, the new. I don't know if people didn't know what it was, but it was getting write-ins in every TV category that we did. So many, in fact, in this one alone, that if we were going to do a number 4, it would be this show.
Wow.
That's how many write-ins it got.
Weird.
It is Arcane, which is a Netflix adult animated series from a French studio set in the League of Legends universe.
Okay.
I don't know next to anything about this. Do either of you guys know of this show? Have heard of this show?
No.
I've
heard of League of Legends.
Yeah, I know. I've heard the name, but I've never played it. I have no idea what it is, to be honest.
But yeah, that's how many. It got so many votes. If we're gonna look at like what was number 4 on the list in this category, it would be this. Outside of the other 20 shows I put on it. So how long until Netflix gives it its own live action treatment, Cowboy Bebop style? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they learned their lesson with that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's pretty wild, though. I mean, I know what League of Legends is, but I have no idea. But it must be based off of that video game. So it's a animated show based off of a video game.
I believe so.
Wow. Okay.
It's doing well enough to get technically number 4 on our list. Over shows that got 0 votes that were on the list. Mr. Mayor, Physical, the reboot of the Wonder Years, they all got 0 votes on the list there. Any favorites that we haven't talked about, guys? Anything that stood out on your list? I know Kyle has said his favorites. John, any favorites?
I really like Dune. That was pretty good.
Okay.
I think we discussed Squid Game. That was the highlight for me.
Yep.
But if I had to choose a second, I think it was Dune. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Squid Game's on my list. One show I'm into. I don't love it yet, but like there's definitely things I'm interested every week with. It's actually on Showtime. So I've been watching it weekly here. It's only a couple episodes in, but Yellow Jackets. It's a little bit lost. It's it's interesting. There's a mystery element. I'm always hesitant, especially with Showtime. I don't want to go down any kind of supernatural route. Like I'm gonna see where this is going. So I'm going in with hesitation. But right now I've been enjoying Yellow Jackets. But all right, one last TV category to talk about, and it's the miniseries anthology category. 2020 was the first year we did this category. So I'll just give you the top 3 from that year, from last year here. Number 3, The Haunting of Bly Manor. Number 2, Tiger King. And of course, number 1, The Queen's Gambit. Those were our 3. This year, the next Mike Flanagan show just kind of missed it. It was Midnight Mass is in that same kind of tier. They're all kind of nearly tied in that like 4th place, 5th place, 6th place area. Midnight Mass was there with 3 Marvel shows: Hawkeye, What If, Falcon and Winter Soldier. All four of those shows were kind of in this own little tier. So it's the one that doesn't belong, Midnight Mass. But I'm glad a lot of those superhero shows, those were in our top 3, and we have different stuff. I'm kind of glad about that. But all right, any guesses though, Kyle? What's in the top 3 then? If those superhero shows aren't in it, the ones I mentioned.
I'm gonna go with Mayor of Easttown, The White Lotus, and that's all. That's all I got. I don't know. Those are the only 2 that I can think of.
Okay, I might have tricked you a little bit with my wording on things, but you're good. You're good with those 2. Because number 3, The White Lotus.
Okay.
This one was like a weird one to put on the list because for the longest time I'm like, well, is it a miniseries? It's been renewed for season 2, but I'm treating it like American Crime Story and Love Life and those kind of shows, where because it's going to be nearly all new cast. It's going to be a new location. It's like, okay, it's just like the title really is the only carryover, so it's a miniseries. But thoughts on The White Lotus, Kyle?
I thought it was really good. The characters were insane. The story was really well done. But I think this whole show was about the characters and how they were written, and especially that Armand, I think was his name. Really, really well acted character. So if you're into, good writing, good acting, good character development, this show does a really, really good job.
Yeah, it was a fun summer surprise. It was kind of went in. I'm like, oh, this might be interesting. And I was like, I gotta watch New White Lotus.
Yeah.
And what a soundtrack this show had too. What a soundtrack. John, any other thoughts on The White Lotus?
This takes the category for me. I know it's not first in the vote, but this is definitely, I think, out of all the ones we had, the highlight for this category for me. So I really enjoyed it, and I hope that they keep up the feel and energy for whatever they do next. I'm sad Armand won't be a part of it, but hopefully
maybe it'll be a prequel. Maybe
we'll see. We can hope. But yeah, I'm looking forward to maybe seeing some more.
All right. Number 2, another HBO show, Mayor of Easttown. All right, number 2. This one's really picking up some awards. We already got 4 Emmy Awards, got 5 Critics' Choice nominations, 2 Golden Globe nominations. It's really picking up some hardware here. And it's like the annual HBO mystery. It's the Big Little Lies. It's the Sharp Objects. Every year they always got something. And this was the one this year. Thoughts, Kyle, on Mayor of Easttown?
I like this a lot too. I mean, Kate Winslet is fantastic in it. Has that little bit of, mystery element, good character development. And just there's some scenes that are just fantastic. That one scene at the end with the woman that won the Emmy, I'm pretty sure, right? For that intense scene at the end. So a lot of good acting, good performances. I really liked Mayor of Easttown. Yeah, I think it's just a really, really well done. This is like classic HBO right here. I think
definitely. We have Mayor of Easttown. Any of you guys watch Mayor of Kingstown on Paramount Plus?
No,
it just came out in the last month. Why didn't they change the name of it? This is too confusing.
Yeah,
Mayor of Easttown, Mayor of Kingstown. Guys, change it up. Do something different. Even if it's just a Kingstown mayor, just something.
Yeah.
But man, now Jeremy Renner's in that. You'll be watching that and Hawkeye. But I liked Mayor of Easttown. I think of the 2 we've talked about so far, I think I probably, maybe just because White Lotus was such like more fun, I probably would have that as like, if I had to rewatch one or something, I'd go White Lotus first.
Yeah, me too.
Mayor of Easttown. But yeah, the acting between all the leads was great. Yeah. All right, number 1, I kind of led you a little astray when I said earlier that 3 Marvel shows were honorable mentions.
So that you're telling me there is. All right. With that in mind,
Not many more on the list.
I'm gonna go with WandaVision. WandaVision.
WandaVision, number one. Number one. Here we go.
Yeah.
There was a lot of Emmys. Like, will it be Mare? Will it be Queen's Gambit? Will it be WandaVision? Obviously, Queen's Gambit and Mare kind of had the win there, but no, WandaVision has the win here.
In the vote that really counts.
The one that really counts. I think, again, as I mentioned earlier, I think the show started off strong for me. I really liked like the beginning of it, when it was different, when it was unique, when they were doing parodies of all these different genres.
Mm-hmm.
But then by the end, and that's when I kind of zoned out and tuned out. Okay, it's another Marvel light show of visual effects. It was just like, all right, yeah, we got to do a Marvel thing at the end of this. And it was just too many lasers. And it just, that's where it lost me, when it became the movies again. But you saw the whole thing, Kyle. What did you end up thinking of WandaVision?
I liked it. Overall, I liked it. I enjoyed it a lot more than I do with the normal Marvel stuff. And I really was digging the different genres of television, and I love Catherine Hahn, so I think she did a great job. And it was that Agatha all the way stuff, kind of
Agatha all along. How dare you get that wrong?
Whatever, dude. Come at me.
It was a pop culture phenomenon.
I know. So I'm saying it was like a whole viral thing. So, yeah. I mean, I enjoyed it overall. Do I think it was the best? Number one? No, I wouldn't have chosen it as number one. But I know.
I'm just messing with you.
I know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I enjoyed it. Again, didn't think it was the greatest thing ever, but definitely enjoyed that genre stuff. In fact, I think Catherine Hahn said in like a podcast or something that she didn't think people would get it because it was like so old, like all the old TV genre things.
Yeah, at this point, I feel like you could do anything, put the Marvel logo on it, and they'd be watching it no matter what it is at this point. Maybe these shows that got 0 and 1 votes should have just slapped Marvel on it, and they would have got some. Halston, the Emmy-winning Halston, 0 votes. And then Scenes from a Marriage, The Premise. Remember that? BJ Novak's The Premise, and The Shrink Next Door all got 1 vote. That was it on the.
The more I think about that Premise show, it's like, why did he introduce this stuff?
That's
it's
what
so
I was
annoying
saying on
to
the
me.
episode. Yeah,
I know. I mean, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
We talked about that, but still, even more so, it's like, dude, we know how TV works. Thanks.
Oh, his name's on it. He has to be part of it.
Yeah.
And the billboards, everything. It's like, I don't know. I mean, you got John Bernthal, you got Tracy Ellis Ross, you got Lucas Hedges. You can put them on the poster too. Like
Yeah.
Oscar nominated people, but let's see, analysts. I said kind of my favorites, Mare and White Lotus. John, I know you said White Lotus. Is there anything else on your list?
American Crime Story was pretty good. I enjoyed that. I don't think it was quite as strong as season 1, but it was still good.
Dexter.
Yeah,
Dexter?
I've been watching.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm binging them at some point.
It's weird. There's some good and some bad. So I don't know if I would say it would be in my top 3, but it's not bad. We'll discuss it on a future podcast, I'm sure.
Midnight Mass. I forgot that one. I really like Midnight Mass of the Mike Flanagan shows. That's on my list. Kyle, what about you?
I like Midnight Mass. I like Love Life this season a lot. I thought it was better than last season, and
I'm working my way through it, and I've been liking it. So I've only seen like 2 or 3, but I've been liking it.
Yeah. I think it's better than the first season, and I enjoyed it more. Maybe it's from a guy's perspective. That's why I enjoyed it a little bit more. But I just think it's better.
All right. One last category to talk about. It's one of the kind of the fun ones for me. The pop culture moments. This can go any which way.
Oh my God, yeah.
2018, we had a tie between the Tide Pod Challenge and the Fortnite Takeover. In 2019, the Game of Thrones final season, everything from the coffee cup to all the backlash about the finale.
Okay.
2020 though, we skipped it. We said it's COVID. Like there's no reason to hold a vote. What was the thing that was the moment, the pop culture zeitgeist thing of the year? Well, that was the thing that we all were affected by.
Yeah.
But let's see here. I got some honorable mentions, and then I'll see what you guys think for the top three. Some ones I want to bring up that just missed it. The billionaire space race and the Jeopardy hosting debacle with the whole
Okay.
Mike Richards thing. They just missed the cut here.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Jeopardy one, that was the thing. Like we were like weekly on the podcast talking
about it. It was wild.
And still to this day, they don't have a permanent host. They have two
Yeah.
back and forth alternates, but like between like the guest host thing, getting all these random people to join in, doing like live on air auditions for us, and then to have this guy who's the EP deciding who's going to be the job, decides that he will get the job, and then he immediately doesn't get the job after filming like a week of episodes. It's like,
what a
wild.
disaster. Yeah, it was a total disaster. Yeah. I don't know. Is he? I can't remember. He's not EP anymore.
No,
right?
he's not.
Yeah. So he
Bluetooth
screwed
close
up
to the
his
sun,
life,
and he
man.
lost everything.
I know. Oh no.
But
Dude.
all right, let's see here. All right, top three, Kyle. What's the big moments from the year?
Top three, dude. So hard. If I had to guess,
Yeah.
which you're making me,
Mm-hmm.
I would say the Bernie at the inauguration. Maybe it's so hard because all of these things happen in like little slivers of time, and it's like, what stood out for that most? I would say based on who's voted, the GameStop stock shorting is going to show up, and maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna run through some other ones just that you haven't said, so we can remind people at home. You got the Bones or No Bones Day. Got all the celebrities admitting that they don't like to shower. Remember
what was
that whole
one?
thing?
I missed that.
You remember that?
No.
It was like Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher like did like this article that they don't think they have to like wash their kids, and then they talk about not showering, and then like Jake Gyllenhaal piggybacks on that, and then they kept like snowballing, and then they had to like go no we shower. It's just like,
is this
it
like
was just
the key to fame is to not shower anymore? Is that why I've been in a rut?
Maybe.
Well, I know like back in the day, Matthew McConaughey says he doesn't use soap. He just uses like a pumice stone to wipe the dead skin cells off his body or something like that.
Yeah, there was the cinnamon toast crunch shrimp thing. Remember the guy said he found shrimp tails in his cereal. The Yahtzee strike, the milk crate challenge, Nicki Minaj's cousin. I'll leave it at that. The stuff with NFTs and the Steve from Blue's Clues showing up out of nowhere. But yeah, none of those that I mentioned made the list. A couple things Kyle did, but nobody said number 3. It was when the Suez Canal was blocked.
Yeah, that was like a thing.
Yep. It was blocked.
How are we gonna get this big ship out of the way?
This is like it was blocked for 6 days back in March. When the Evergreen or Evergreen is in the picture.
Evergreen is the name of the boat and Evergiven's the company. No,
yeah, I think that was it because I looked it up and I'm looking it up now. Evergiven was is one of the 13 container ships built there, so that was one of the ships, but it's labeled Evergreen. Anyways, there was something that blocked the Suez Canal.
A big boat.
No way ships were able to bypass thing. It had this huge impact. From what I can understand here, it was about $9.6 billion of different, trade stuff, not being able to get through for Europe and Asia and all the countries a day. 9.6 billion a day.
That's wild.
And it was for 6 days. It was blocked there. They just couldn't get around it. Just seeing like the images and thinking about this, it reminds me so much of Austin Powers. You know the scene I'm talking about?
Oh,
With the
yeah.
little, he somehow gets his like go-kart like stuck in the hallway.
Yeah.
Like, how did you even get it into that?
Yeah.
How? But
Oh man.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, that's exactly what that's like. That's crazy.
Wild. But all right. Number 2 on the list. It was something we kind of talked about. I mentioned it in a quick check at one point this year. The Free Britney movement. That was number 2 on the list.
Uh-huh.
It's obviously been going on for a while, this hashtag and this movement, but it really kind of came to surface, I think, with the documentary Framing Britney Spears. I think it came out in February. That's when I first kind of saw it and kind of really learned about conservatorships. This and I Care a Lot, the movie on Netflix, I think we talked about, really kind of opened my eyes to just how crazy and just messed up these relationships are. And at least on the bright side of everything, I believe as of November, Britney's has ended, and I think the public support really helped, kind of, because I think a lot of people would have not really maybe thought too much about it, but because of this, because of the uproar between all the media news about it, I think it kind of helped push this through, and maybe has opened eyes up for other situations for other people to dealing with. Any thoughts on Free Britney, Kyle?
I would just say that a lot of the others are like a moment in time. This is one that just like keeps coming back because it was like people were on her side, and then it was like, oh, she's got a court date, and then more details would come out, and then it was the documentary, and then it was like another court date, and then like the father speaks, and then Britney, so it's like this ongoing thing that I think a lot of people became aware of. So good for her, and that this eventually came to an end, but it took a long time. And I don't think, unlike some of these pop culture stuff where it's like one flash point in time, it was like a ongoing thing.
Multiple.
Yeah.
And probably still ongoing. Who knows? But all right. So number 1, we actually have a tie. We have a tie for number 1. I'll start off with the first one here. You can kind of see in our visual probably what it is.
Yeah, I know now what it is. Yeah.
The Bernie Sanders inauguration meme.
Uh-huh.
This one lasted all the way from January here.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Curb hasn't just done this. Somehow they got like just in this outfit, just sitting somewhere just to get this meme going again. Sitting there with his mask, his mittens, those mittens, I think became like these. It was like a local business, and it was like such hot selling that was like the business couldn't keep up with the demand for these mittens after this meme. But yeah, just like the way he had like his like manila envelope, like he was gonna go do like an errand after the inauguration. He's just like, I gotta stop at the post office and then get groceries, but I'll do this first. Like whatever.
Yep.
But yeah, any thoughts on the Bernie Sanders meme?
I mean, people were putting them everywhere. That was the whole thing. It was funny at the time, and then like people put it. I mean, the internet does its thing, and it lasted for quite a bit. So
it did, and it tied with something that you mentioned as well. Something that was also kind of a thing that lasted quite a bit and kept coming back up, and there was more developments. The GameStop stock short squeeze really took off in January again, and this was, I believe, at the height of this whole stock shorting, it was $500 per share. That's what it was going for at the height of this. 30 times the valuation of what it normally is, and it led to the app Robinhood halting of buying GameStop stock, which resulted in lawsuits of market manipulation. They later did a whole similar thing with AMC theaters and their stock, and the whole thing of like to the moon and all this like lingo, and just John, the GameStop short squeeze here. Thoughts?
I don't know. It's pretty crazy. I mean, you on one hand have people doing to stockbrokers and all that stuff what they normally do, and then you have the stockbrokers being like, no, you can't do that, and like getting
We
upset.
do that.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know, like the whole double standard thing was pretty crazy to see it all kind of play out. And same thing with like Bitcoin. Hindsight's 2020. It'd be nice to have been there to ride that wave up to a little bit of cash,
to the moon,
but that's what it is now.
Yeah. And don't worry, we're going to get plenty of this. Just like Tiger King, there's plenty of projects in development. I think we might have mentioned them right now, at least on Wikipedia. If you look, there are 5 different projects listed that are in development. You got a
That's
Netflix
insane.
movie. You have an MGM movie based off of a book, a limited run series, a documentary, and an HBO scripted film. Kyle, you ready for talking about that every other month next year on the podcast?
No. Oh my God, no. But I just love how the one is based on a book from that. I mean, it all happened in a year.
Well, I don't know if it was like a complete based 100%.
They adapted it to
yeah, like
whatever
it was
they
something
used.
based on like stock
All right.
stuff, and then they kind of made it off of that.
Yeah.
I'm seeing if I can pull up the name of the exact thing here in the moment. I'm working on it, but too hard to find right now. But plenty of stuff coming out
The
soon.
thing I'll say about this GameStop stock shorting thing is it was, even if you weren't in entertainment or anything, it was affecting life. Like the Bernie Sanders meme is just a funny thing that people were doing. This was like affecting financial institutions, like how then like
the government was stepping involved, like it was like a thing.
And then it like got like, oh, what allowed to,
Yeah.
What are stockbrokers allowed to do? What are people's allowed to do? How is Wall Street, screwing over the little guy? And people were doing interviews on news channels across, the media landscape about this thing.
Wild stuff. But yeah, those were our 2021 top 3 pop culture moments. Some of my favorites that didn't make the cut. Obviously, I mentioned the Jeopardy debacle. I thought the stuff with Taylor Swift and the All Too Well and the short film and the re-release, that kind of was a moment there. And then I'll mention it. Maybe it's just a dual redundancy thing, but the James Corden viral sidewalk musical thing.
Just so ridiculous.
What the heck? Any other moments stand out to you guys this year that we haven't mentioned? Any favorites? Anything?
I will say the milk crate challenge was pretty dumb, but it was
all
around.
The challenges are done. If you tell me, oh, there's a new challenge, I'm like, it's dumb. Whatever it is. It's dumb. Tide Pod, milk crate.
Yeah.
But John, you'll appreciate this. There was a write-in for a pop culture moment that was Chris Pratt cast in fill in the blank. Happens so frequent.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Pratt's cast in something.
That's funny.
Okay, last thing I'm going to do is just run through some comments that were left on the survey. This is sometimes where it can get really weird or fun. I always ask, is there any personal entertainment memories or moments from 2021? I think people also sometimes take that as any personal moments from 2021.
Yeah.
It's mostly entertainment memories, but I'll still read them here. This first one, don't get mad, Kyle, but there were somebody liked the WWE Peacock partnership. I'm like, oh, they're trying to bait Kyle. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let's see. There were some people watched some old stuff this year. Quote, I binge watch all of BoJack Horseman. So although it's not from this year, that stands out. And somebody else, I didn't spend a lot of time in 2021 with media from 2021, except for music. Most of my focus was on Mr. Sunshine 2018. Okay. Meanwhile, some people are watching some weird stuff. I'm even debating about saying this one on the podcast.
Oh, no. Oh, geez.
I might clean it up a little bit. My kitten was chasing his tail, and he whacked his genitalia on the wall and ran away.
Was that a home movie or what was that?
That was somebody's personal entertainment memory from 2020.
Oh my God, dude. We need
that.
that guy's life rights.
We need the clip to play. It really is what it boils down to.
Some people were very optimistic and positive. They said, I got my dream job. Somebody who said Godzilla versus Kong opening to 31 million. That was the moment I knew theaters would be roaring back and prove the naysayers wrong. Such an exciting time in 2021. And then some people were not as optimistic.
Wait, does that last person work for the studios? What?
Maybe. I think it might have been either Godzilla or Kong. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then there were some people that, were not optimistic. Quote, so glad 2021 is almost over, though 2022 will be worse for sure. So,
Yeah, it's like, what do you? I mean, we don't know what's next.
No.
It just looks like the same crap.
Every year, 2019, 2020, you always see, 2020 sucked, but guess what? 2021, that's my year. Spoiler, it's not. It's not gonna be. Same with 2022,
No.
2023. That's it.
Oh,
That's the note I want to end on tonight. Well, that is it for the podcast of 2021. We did it. Those were your favorite movies, television shows, and pop culture moments from the year. And that is it for us for the next couple of weeks. We're going to be off. We're going to come back in January. But we got some stuff. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast, whatever podcast player you like, because we got some mini pods coming for the podcast. Next week, our favorite dual redundancy moments from the past year. We'll talk about those. And then the next week, what we're looking forward to in 2022. We'll look ahead at the next year and what can either excite us or disappoint us come next year at this time. Make sure during this time you're following us on social media, on Twitter, on Instagram at Dual Redundancy, and of course on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, the blog, dualredundancy.com, and Twitch. We'll be back the first Tuesday in January, twitch.tv/Dual Redundancy, usually 8 p.m. Eastern. That's normally what we go to. That is it. That's it for the year, guys. I gotta thank you both. Really, truly, I can't do this thing without you. Thank you for joining me for the last year of podcasts, for John, for directing all of our Twitch streams, getting the audio up into the podcast players. I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a great last episode.
Yeah, of the year.
Of the year.
Until next year, I'm David Allen.
I'm John Berwick.
And I'm Kyle Bridger.
And that's all we got for Dual Redundancy 2021. Goodbye, everybody.